I thought since I was out here and since I finally got my new camera, so maybe the quality of video will be a little bit better, I'd give a quick walkthrough. Right now we are looking at the wall. I finally am getting my wall back up on with my ladies out here. I used to have a whole big Sports Illustrated wall, but anyway, so I got my home-built compressor working again after almost 2 years, I think it was. I burnt the contacts up, so I had to replace that and did a little bit of tinkering around to get that dialed back in and stuff. There's a railroad track that's going to be a couple of anvil builds. But over here is kind of my carb area, and I keep like my card pools and jets and things like that over here. I'm working on getting everything cleaned up yet, and I got way behind on things over the last few years and just kind of straightening up now. Bandsaw build, if you looked at any of my other ones, there's in my foundry furnace. Oh yeah, my homemade sandblasting cabinet back here. I'm pretty sure it's 6 or 7 feet long, and basically 3 feet deep and 4 feet tall. I figured for what the money of a Harbor Freight cabinet, I could build one bigger, and I want to be able to do bumpers and axles and things like that. So that's why I did that. I need to get some new gloves on it and stuff. I was without the air compressor for a while, so I hadn't put much use in that. That box on the top is actually a furnace, a home furnace, forced air fan in there. I had a filter running it. I got to do some work to get the ventilation dialed right in, but that helps with some visibility some. I do have a light inside there with the switch, and got the inside lined with flashing. I don't know if I showed that very well. That back wall, the bottom, the front, it's all just a thin roll of roofing flashing, so that, you know, like you can see on the door here where I don't have the flashing. Maybe you can. The blasting eats away the wood, and A, it eats the wood, and B, the wood gets into the sand then, so when you want to reuse it, then you have to screen it more and stuff. So the flashing helps with that a lot. It keeps stuff out of sand, and plus it reflects the light a little better, and it holds up a little better than just the bare wood. But for what it cost to build this, I mean, I couldn't even touch half of one of those Harbor Freight cabinets that isn't even a tenth of the size. So I really like it. The design isn't the greatest. There's definitely room for improvement, but it functions, so it's nice to have. There's the barrel that's going to be the new foundry soon, and be taking over for Dave there, or Bob. I mean, I'm going to name the new one Dave. Old one's Bob. I got my chop saw set up over here. And then for when I have longer stuff that I need to support, I can just fold that down. It's not really the best place having it right in the door, but I had other plans when I first put this stuff in here, but you know, it still works. So, and like I said, I'm working on getting things set up here, cleaned up and all that. Got to make some more grinder holders and stuff. I'm going to have a separate video about that. Metal plate just folded over to fit in the French cleats here for the magnetic trays that come in so handy when you're taking something apart for keeping all the nuts and bolts. I got my fittings because for the air impact, I have the high flow adapter on, but being that that's the only thing that really needs the high flow, it's really hard to justify the expense of converting everything over to the high flows. So I have the adapter that runs goes from the small size to the high flow, just in case I need to put the hoses together, because right now I have one hose with the high flow adapter or fittings on it, one hose with the smaller ones. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is my disc sander that I got to work on this platform yet and stuff. That's still it was kind of a quick build, but basically just an aluminum plate mounted to a motor for the 12-inch discs. But then this is the part that I like. I've got it set up so that I got a foot switch which when you got things in your hands and you got your gloves on, and you know, it's nice to have, not have to reach and reach around and try to get stuff for turning on and that, and taking a chance on catching yourself and stuff. There's my English wheel. I did get a different pulley for it. That's over by the lathe. I'm going to be upgrading that to a steel wheel, so I'll be doing that build, getting that all working again, because I got some things I want to make with that. And while we're over here, I might as well show off the really expensive multi-size fork seal, motorcycle fork seal tool. So slotted here and here with a little chunk out so that it can expand and contract, so that for different size fork seals, I've been certified for motorcycle mechanics for, I don't know, 15 years. I've been working on for probably 25, but I know it's not the right way of doing it, and it really needs to be cleaned up, but that thing has worked for me for right around 10 or 12 years, driving fork seals of all different sizes, and I've never had a problem with one. I've never had one leak that I've installed with that. So you tell me, do you got to pay $60 for a fork seal driver for every different size? So you end up with, you know, 5, 6, 8 different sizes at $60 a piece, or do you spend $4 on a piece of PVC, which probably doesn't even cost that much? Could put a couple of cuts in it and be able to drive your fork seals. This is kind of the grinding corner. I got the whetstone. I put a cutoff disc on this side, so when you're doing something, you can just cut over, zip it off quick, hit it. Works real well. These are all plugged in. Got the twins here, Mary Kate and Ashley. So we got the coarse disc, the fine disc, wire wheel, and a buffing wheel. Now this is I use this one for if I'm buffing an axle or something like that, to get it cleaned up before I put it back in, keep it smooth. I don't do any actual polishing on this. I keep the polisher, the buffer, over here, which even this, I'm thinking about either moving it or putting a cover on it to make sure that I'm keeping sand out of these wheels to make it a little better. So, and I'm planning on redoing the counters here, so they're a little bit too deep, so reaching for the tools is a little bit of a pain, but it's, you know, everything's evolving out here yet for me. Like I said, I got behind on, you know, some health issues and getting back into things, and so now we can come over to the other side. So, drill press. It's nice to have a fence on it sometimes when you're sliding, running stuff through, and when you want to keep something a set distance and that. Comes in handy sometimes, but more so over here, what I wanted to get at was a few different things, like jigsaw mounted upside down, and it's turned on so that over here, oh geez, sorry about the crappy camera work, but it's just plugged into a power strip so that when I want to use it, all I gotta do is turn it on and blow people's eardrums out, because I forgot to warn them if they're wearing earbuds. You know, and then I got the little bandsaw, and this light comes in really handy. Here's another thing. It's a homemade $300 router lift. So I keep a wrench here on a string so it stays with it. So I can undo the lock and then crank it up and down. You know, for doing adjustments on my router depth, and then lock it back down. It works really nice. So disc belts in there, scroll saw, broken bandsaw. You know, die filer that I'll be restoring soon and using, and vise stuff. So let's see, the big powder coating oven that I gotta be doing the fixing up on pretty soon here. I finally got all the controllers and that. I think some of this stuff might have been in a video already, but just kind of forget where I am. And I'm planning on doing a build with the pressure washer to have a cabinet for it. I saw somebody's got that online somewhere. I don't remember which guy. I think it's a Cameron guy that works on motorcycles or something. And it looked convenient. It's really convenient. We'll just put it that way. And so So I was thinking about doing that. Metal lathe that needs cleaning and stuff, wood lathe. And yeah, it's nice. Like with this one, I got 4 table saws, and it's when you do a lot of work like that, it's just so nice having multiple tools so that you can set it up to do one job. And like say you're doing a bevel on this one, so you set it up to cut the bevel, and then you need to rip something else to size. Well, you take the other one and rip that to size, and then once I get the last one done up, I'm going to leave the dado set up right on the one, so that one will be the dado and one's for bevel and one's for, then I want to make some jigs and stuff for that too. So that's kind of a quick walkthrough of my mess here, and it's a work in progress, but it gets things done. I know it's still a mess and it's not the fanciest thing in the world, but there was a time in my life when I never thought I'd have even this much, and when I've got it clean, I can actually be fairly productive out here. So, I can't wait to actually get it back to being cleaned up, and now that we're getting some decent weather here. So, anyway, that's the quick of it, which didn't end up being that quick, but have a good one.